The envelope trembled in Marcus Chen's hands, not from his grip but from the weight of something he couldn't yet name. Rain hammered against the floor-to-ceiling windows of his penthouse office, each drop a tiny fist demanding to be heard. Inside the cream-colored paper, written in the uncertain loops of a child's handwriting, were words that would dismantle everything he'd built his life upon. "Can you read this letter?" The nurse had asked him 2 hours ago, her eyes glistening with something between hope and heartbreak. "It's very important." He hadn't wanted to. He'd wanted to crumple it, throw it away, pretend it didn't exist, just like he'd pretended so many things didn't exist for the past 7 years. If this story touches your heart, please hit that like button, leave a comment below sharing your thoughts, and subscribe to Kindness Pulse for more stories that remind us what truly matters in life. Your support means the world. Marcus Chen was a titan of industry, a self-made billionaire who'd clawed his way from nothing to everything. His pharmaceutical company dominated 3 continents. His face graced magazine covers. His name opened doors that remained closed to kings. But success, he'd learned, was a jealous lover. It demanded everything, consumed everything, left room for nothing else. 7 years ago, he'd made his choice. Career over family, empire over love, ambition over the small hand that had reached for his, begging him not to go. The letter began simply, "Dear Daddy." 2 words, and already his vision blurred. He forced himself to continue. "My name is Emma, and I'm 8 years old now. Mommy says you probably don't remember me, but I remember you. I remember when you used to call me your little butterfly because I never stayed still. I remember your laugh. I remember the last time I saw you. You were wearing your gray suit. You kissed my forehead and said you'd be back soon. That was 7 years ago. I'm still waiting." Marcus's throat constricted. The words swam before his eyes, but he forced himself onward, each sentence finding its mark with surgical precision. "I'm writing to you from St. Catherine's Hospital. The doctors use big words I don't always understand, but I know what they mean when they look at Mommy and shake their heads. I'm running out of time, like sand in an hourglass. I have something called acute lymphoblastic leukemia. The treatments made my hair fall out. I look like a baby bird now, Mommy says." His hands shook violently now. He moved to the window, pressing his forehead against the cold glass, the letter clutched to his chest. Below, the city sprawled in glittering indifference. Somewhere in that maze of steel and stone, in a hospital room he'd never visited, a little girl, his little girl, was fading like a photograph left too long in the sun. "The doctors tried everything. They used some medicines from your company, actually. Mommy showed me your name on the bottle and said, 'Look, Emma, your daddy helped make this.' I felt so proud. I told all the other kids in the cancer ward that my daddy was a hero. But the medicines didn't work for me. I'm getting very tired, Daddy." The sob that escaped him was raw, primal, a sound he didn't recognize as his own. How long had it been since he'd cried? How long since he'd allowed himself to feel anything beyond the cold satisfaction of a deal closed? A competitor crushed? But that's not why I'm writing. The Wish Foundation people came to see me. They said I could wish for anything. Disney World, meeting a movie star, a shopping spree. But Daddy, I don't want any of those things. I have only one wish, and it's very simple. I wish I could see you one more time. I wish I could hear you call me your little butterfly again. I wish I could show you my drawings. I wish I could tell you that I forgive you for leaving. I wish I could tell you that I love you anyway. But Daddy, the problem is I don't have enough memories of you. That's what makes me most sad." Marcus's legs gave out. He slid down the window, the glass cold against his back, tears streaming unchecked down his face. "So this is my wish. Can you please come see me? Even just once? Even just for 5 minutes? Room 412 at St. Catherine's Hospital. I'll be here. I'm always here. Waiting for my daddy to come back, just like he promised." The letter was signed with a shaky signature and a drawing, a crude butterfly made from 2 handprints. Beneath it, "I used purple paint because Mommy says it was your favorite color." Was she right? Marcus didn't remember making the decision to move. One moment he was on the floor, destroyed, the next he was grabbing his coat, shouting orders to his assistant. Cancel everything, all of it. The meetings, the conference calls, the board presentations. Cancel his life as he'd known it. Before we continue, if this story is moving you, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Kindness Pulse. Share this story with someone who needs a reminder about what truly matters. The drive to St. Catherine's took 17 minutes, though it felt like hours. Every red light was torture. The rain had intensified, the sky weeping what he could no longer contain. His shoes squeaked on the linoleum as he ran through corridors. 4th floor, turn left. Room 412. He stopped. The door was ajar, soft light spilling into the hallway. He could hear voices inside. A woman's voice reading a story and another voice, smaller, weaker, asking questions about whether stories ever really ended. Marcus pushed open the door. The room was smaller than his office bathroom, but it contained infinitely more wealth. Drawings covered every wall. Butterflies mostly in every color imaginable. In the bed, propped up on pillows, was a little girl so fragile she looked like she might disappear if he blinked. She had his eyes. "Emma," he whispered. Recognition dawned slowly. "Daddy?" The word was barely audible. A question and a prayer and a greeting all at once. He crossed the room in 3 strides, falling to his knees beside her bed, taking her small hand in both of his. "I got your letter. I'm sorry I'm late. I'm so sorry I'm late." Emma's smile could have powered cities. "You came. You really came. Of course I came. You're my little butterfly." She laughed, a sound like wind chimes, delicate and perfect. "I'm not very butterfly-like anymore." "Butterflies don't need to fly to be beautiful," he said, brushing a hand over her smooth head. "They just need to be themselves." For the next 3 hours they talked. She showed him her drawings, told him about her favorite books, introduced him to her stuffed elephant. She asked about his work, and he realized how hollow it all sounded when measured against the weight of her hand in his. As the afternoon faded into evening, Emma's energy began to wane. Her words came slower, her eyes drooping despite her efforts to stay awake. "Daddy?" she whispered. "Will you stay?" "I'm not going anywhere," he promised, and for the first time in 7 years he meant it. "Not ever again." "Good," she said, her smile peaceful. "Because I have so many more things to tell you tomorrow." But tomorrow never came for Emma. She passed away peacefully that night, her hand in her father's, her final wish fulfilled. Marcus held her as the monitors flatlined, as nurses came with their quiet efficiency, as his ex-wife Sarah collapsed in grief beside him. He held his little butterfly as she took flight one last time, leaving behind a broken CEO and a letter that had changed everything. In the weeks that followed, Marcus dismantled the empire he'd built. He restructured his company, putting people first, profit second. He established the Emma Chen Foundation, funding pediatric cancer research and supporting families torn apart by illness and ambition. He couldn't bring his daughter back, but he could honor her memory by becoming the man she'd believed he was, the hero she'd told her hospital friends about. Emma's letter remained in his pocket always, a reminder that the most important meetings are the ones we have with those who love us, that success means nothing if we're not present for life's most precious moments, and that sometimes it takes a child's final wish to shatter the walls we build around our hearts and remind us what it truly means to live.